and Buff is running quietly in the background, you should go on playing your regular games and get amazing gifts. So, click below now.
Here I am on the screen.
Want to know the fastest, easiest way to earn income online? This isn't for you if you have a thriving online business. This isn't for you if you already know exactly what to sell. All you need to know is that you want to earn online. If that's you, then you're in the right place. So pay close attention. In just 30 to 40 minutes, you can actually get started yourself. There are over 1,000 people earning over $100,000 in sales following this exact model that I'm about to show you. There's a free workshop I'm running, and you can join it to get started selling online now. You can learn my step-by-step formula to creating your own successful online business.
Turn your mic off until you finish, until you're ready, because we hear your commercial in the background. Oh, Shauna.
Let's see how many people are here.
Oh, Shauna. Looked like that was a delay in talking.
Yeah.
Let me see if I
Yeah,
can.
there's a delay because it's on YouTube. Let me exit out of YouTube.
Yeah, if you come off of YouTube, then they won't be able to see it. Oh, you mean the way you were looking at it? Okay.
Yeah, because I'm only in StreamYard.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, if you play at the same time, I think it's gonna have these kind of echoes or something.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna let a few more people come in.
Yeah, I think that makes.
Shared it on my channel, so.
Huh?
So I already shared it on my channel, so.
Oh, okay.
People should just start coming in. If
Yeah, it's not exactly 2:20 anyway, so we, like you said, we'll give them a few minutes to get in. Where's Monty and Mina?
living room.
Oh, okay. So you can hear me clear?
Yes, I can hear you nice and clear.
Okay, so it means my microphone is working, huh?
Yes. So, there's 8 people now. I guess we could just. Well, you want to wait till 2:20? Because I would say we can just start. But
yeah, we'll wait till 2:20 because that's when it's technically supposed to start. So
okay, so you guys
timely 2:20.
We are waiting for more people to come in and for 2:20. So in the next 5 minutes, we're going to get started.
But I can give them a brief description of what we're going to talk about. I'm going to start with Papa Legba and break down who he is and what he's about and how to utilize him, when to utilize him. And then I'll move on over to...
Hi, the Melanin Goddess. Hello.
So if I can't explain to them, if you're going to be shouting people out at the same time, because then you'll be talking over me.
Okay, go ahead, Mom.
So you can shout the people out. I'll just wait until we start to do it.
Okay, well, I already told her hi, so.
And some more people coming in?
Yeah, it's 10 people now.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll talk about Papa Legba. Then after Papa Legba, we'll discuss the 9 rites of Munay-Ki, and we also will discuss what is a shaman, and if what is the process of receiving the 9 Munay-Ki rites, how you receive them, how can you clean up your luminous energy field, which is also known as an aura. You know, how to clean up your DNA from generational curses from your past, your grandparents' past. And we'll talk about how you could biohack your DNA to like basically grow a new body, a homo luminous body. We're going to talk about generational curses and how to free yourself from them. We're going to talk about psychic vampires, how to cut the cords and the attachments from people, places, and things. And also a brief history on the luminous body, what it is and what it consists of, how it functions, how it operates, what heals it, what diseases it. And then I'll show you a quick video on when a person is willing to receive the 9 rites of Munay-Ki, an actual session of someone receiving the rites from one person to another. So it'll be interesting if you're really on like a spiritual path to open up your wisdom and seeking more knowledge. This is the place to be right now. And then you can always research everything that I show you, everything that I say. You can always do your own due diligence. So that way you can have that self-satisfaction, not just me saying it and it sounds good and feels good. I want you to also, dive into it yourself because it may resonate with you. It may not. Another spiritual system might resonate with you better, but there's proper systems out there that people need to start engaging in and knowing that's available so we can stop this sickness and diseases and hate and, lack of self-love and all of that. So yeah, that's that. And then I'll go over the 7, altogether it's 7, but there'll be 4 animal archetypes and 3 archangels. And I'll explain what they are and what their attributes are and things like that. And then I'll talk briefly on I'll get in detail, but it'll be a brief detail on the 9 rites, like what each rite represent, where is it inserted in your body and all of that good stuff. We'll actually insert it into your chakras. I don't want to scare you. So we can start now, Shauna.
Okay. Hold on, let me go to my channel. Okay, so namaste, love and light. Everyone that is here, I send you all love and light, abundance and prosperity. Now, this is going to be a live stream that my mom and I did come up with. Now, mainly she's going to be doing the talking. I'm going to have my camera off, and she's going to be explaining to you guys what she just said she was going to be explaining about the Munay-Ki, the psychic vampires, and how to clean up your energetic field. And we're going to be talking about Papa Legba, which will be first. Okay, I know we talk about Legba a lot on this channel, so he's definitely here. So yeah, you guys just enjoy, stay tuned throughout the whole live stream, please. Anyone that's passing and going, feel free to leave your comments or concerns, questions in the chat, and I will answer them for you via chat. Not on the webcam. It's gonna be via chat. So I love y'all so much. Thank y'all for tuning in, and yeah, so that's all I have to say, Mom.
Okay, no problem. So greetings, everyone, and thank you for being here. Thank you for your time and your attention. Like Shauna said, I am her mother. I'm also known as Nigis from Real Radio Talk. And I also have a podcast on YouTube as well. If you like to check it out, you can. It's Real Radio Talk with Nigis, just as you see here. And, like it, subscribe it, share it, tune in sometimes when we're on. and I think you'll like the dialogues that we be having. So today we're going to discuss a few things, but the first thing we will talk about is Papa Legba, also known as Ishu in Nigeria, Yoruba, Orisha tradition, also known as Elegua in the Hispaniola tradition. And when we go over to the Christian Catholic world, he's known as Saint Peter or Saint Anthony. And in the Catholic world, he's known as the door opener as well, or gives access. You know, the only one that stands at the door to give access. And you may be familiar with Papa Legba as Saint Lazarus, who rise from the dead in 4 days, which represents the four directions. And yeah, it's that he's called by different names. And today I'm going to call him Papa Legba. Like I said, you may be familiar with
All right,
Ishu,
I'm on live stream.
Saint Peter, Saint Anthony, Saint Lazarus, but I'm going to address him as Papa Legba. So Papa Legba is the keeper of the gateway. Okay, he's at the gateway that stands between energy and matter, the earth and the heavens, the many different levels of heavens. And he grants special favors. Ishu also puts you on the right path, and he makes sure that he clears all blockages and cords and attachments that's in your way. So he starts you off pretty much like on a clean slate. You know how before you start school and your mom buy you all those fresh new clothes, and you go to school and you're feeling good and you're ready for that new year, for a new start. That's how Papa Legba sets you straight. Okay, he's an elder man with a cigar or maybe sometimes a pipe. Sometimes he wears a straw hat or a top hat type of hat, you know. Not sometimes exactly a top hat. It may be a little shorter and have a little dent in the middle, but he always wears a hat, and he walks with a cane. He's also associated with the a dog animal archetype. So you'll
Right.
always see a doggy with him, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So Papa Legba animal archetype, since we'll be talking about archetypes when I talk about the shaman world and the voodoo system. Papa Legba archetype, animal archetype would be the dog. And you know, we may be scary of dogs and think they're vicious and mean, but if you look at it from a spiritual eye or spiritual point of view, you'll realize that, you know, dogs have great, you know, attributes to itself and great powers and characteristics that even in Native American cultures is considered, you know, they have the dog tribe or the dog men, you know. Dogs are very, you know, special. They sniff out things and very sensitive to smells and can see spirits and those type of things, just like cats. So anyway, um, Papa Legba likes to drink sparkling water. He also likes rum, and he's also connected to children, and he also protects children. And he loves candy, cake, chocolate, boiled peanuts, palm oil, tobacco for his pipe. So what you would need to do is just take the time to learn how to draw the VVs or the Siglis of Papa Legba, the crossroad symbols, and just give me a moment, and I'll get you an example of how it looks. So I'll be right back.
Yes, you guys. Definitely, if you want to conjure him or anything, it's good to use their VVs. Unless you have unless you feel them in your heart, you know, a deep, you know, connection, soul connection with them, then that's the VV right there, you know. But it all depends on the individual and how open their heart is and how pure their heart is. Because you guys know we discussed in our past reads that spirits, you know, once they are within you, quote unquote, they reside in your heart. So you will, you know, feel them a lot more. The connection is deeper. Typically, if you're deep within your spirituality, you will feel spirit in your heart. And that's them being within you. That's you having their power, harnessing their power, right? Feeling their strength and whatnot. Hey, drama. Drama, 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 drama. I just had to dance for you real quick, drama. What's up? Yo, my bed is not even made. It's okay. My mom is coming. You just made an R&B track? Nice. I like that. I love R&B. Do you make lo-fi? I love lo-fi too.
Okay. Sorry about that. I just want to make sure you get the idea of what the VV or the Siglies are. So this is how it would look. So you learn
Yeah,
how
it's
to
beautiful, right?
draw this when you want to call upon Papa Legba. So I'm just trying to show you it from different angles. So when you do your search, you'll know what you're looking at. Okay, so if you want to invite him in, you have to invite him in with pleasant energy. Like I said, have your VV or your Siglies written out. You understand? Have
Have all the offerings ready.
right, the different treats that I named that he like, and the
Yes,
rum,
that's
and
good.
So, but one thing about Papa Legba is like you can't misuse him. You can't use him for wrong reasons. Because remember, he's the one that he opens the gate and he closes the gate. So make sure you give your offerings because you want to give thanks and gratitude for him bringing you down that right path. But also make sure your intentions is good, because if he closes that gate on you, or he closes the gate on you and you don't get what you're granted because you did it in a vindictive, malicious, evil-hearted way for reasons, then you're going to see the other side of Papa Legba, which is the dark side, the trickster side that everybody says Papa Legba, is known for. And we all have a dark side, so it's not a bad thing that there's a dark side to Papa Legba. He's really not a bad person. He's really not an angry person. He just has that light and dark attribute, just like you have a good and bad side. All right.
Mom, what's your YouTube link again? Somebody wanted your YouTube link. They cashed at me $3 for you to post it.
It's Real Radio Talk.
That's your YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you guys, and someone did say that Legba will trick you, and he will. But I feel like personally, Legba will trick a person if their intention and their heart is bad. And if you're trying to trick him, a lot of karmics, a lot of people don't realize they be tricking the spirits when they lie to them. And Legba knows that you're yeah, I know. I hear it.
Something's wrong the way she's crying. Yeah, you don't play with Papa Legba like he's a joke thing, Sometimes he's a trickster because he's trying to teach you a lesson as well. Maybe you're not listening. You're asking for help. He's giving you the help. He's removing the obstacles. He's cutting the cords, and you keep going back to the same garbage. So then now he has to, play his tricks on you, because now you're playing tricks on him by not being serious about what you're asking for. So be careful when you go to him, because he grants special favors for number one. So if you go to him for a special favor, but that special favor is to harm somebody, just know that Papa Legba is not going to be resonating with you. And don't get him confused with Byron. All right, they're two different people. Byron and Papa Legba are two different people. And even Byron has a life and death principle. Papa Legba represents the life and death principle. He's the gatekeeper. He's the one that's, like I said, he's between energy and matter, between our world and the spiritual world. You got to go through him to get through your spiritual world, to get to those answers that you want to be put out into the galaxy. You got to go through him. So we want to look at it in that way. And his festival days is June 29th, which is one coming up. November 1st. November 18th through the 21st is another festival day for Papa Legba. So you have June 29th is a festival day. November 18th through the 21st is a festival day. And November 1st, that's one of his numbers. Also 13 is 2. And 3. 3, you'll see him doing things in 3 sometimes, where 3 represents, not 3, I'm sorry, 13. I'm thinking about something else. Not 3, I meant to say 13. So that 13, that's supposed to be a bad number. It's not a bad number. And Papa Legba colors are red, as we know, black, purple, and yellow. And each set of those colors, represent a different side of him. Like, I said he protects children and he loves children. He has like a childlike side to him. Understand? And he also has that door opener side to him, gatekeeper side to him. Then he also has that trickster side to him. So you just look at him as a person with a big personality. And we all have a big personality if we choose to. So, Papa Legba, Ishu, Elegwa, St. Peter, whatever name you use, Papa Legba is very funny and picky with who he helps. And also remember that he doesn't just help everybody because you think you set up a beautiful altar and put out that bad intention to harm somebody or talk junk about somebody, whatever it is you're trying to do. Don't think that it's Papa Legba. It could be somebody else because Papa Legba is very picky who he helps. And sometimes portrayed as a trickster, like I was saying, or having a dark side, which every person on earth have. I have to repeat that again, a light and dark side. No one is exempt, but it's how you utilize it. No one is exempt from having a dark and light side, but it's how you utilize your dark and light. Do you balance it or you shine more in your dark? Do you shine more in your light like that? Do you know when to use your dark side and when not to use it? So we have to remember that, Papa Legba is the communicator of life and death. He has the keys to heaven and the keys to hell. So just when you think you're using him for evil intentions, those keys he has to hell, it could send you into damnation. Not a physical place, hell, but you'll go to a lower realm. You understand what I'm saying? Until you go through your reincarnating judgment type of thing. That's a whole nother issue. But I don't want to sound religious when I'm saying that going to hell, keys to heaven, keys to hell. Because I know people's mind will go, well, how could you be talking about Papa Legba and then you're also talking about church and heaven and hell and St. Peter and St. Lazarus? I was mentioning St. Peter, St. Anthony, and St. Lazarus to show you that Papa Legba is known all over the world, but have different names, even in the Catholic system.
And if you guys really are connected with Legba or the spirits, you'll know that they all connected with God. They all have a connection with him. So even though he could be Ishu, just know he still have that Christ consciousness. He's allowed to be Ishu. He has permission to be Ishu. Okay, because he is the GOAT. But anyway,
right. I could have said Ishu the whole time, but I chose to use Papa Legba. You know what I mean? Because he's still Ishu, Papa Legba, Elegwa. They're still the same person. It's just a different name because of the different geographic location. The Loas in Haiti call him Papa Legba. The Orishas in Nigeria call him Ishu. And in some Hispaniola Voodoo traditions, they call him Elegua. So we just dealing with different geographic location and time and space, which makes the names different. But he's still the same person. He still likes red beans and rice in the Catholic form. He still likes red beans and rice in the Nigerian name. He still likes red beans and rice in the Haitian name, which he really does. He also likes red beans and rice. So if you want to make a nice pot of red beans and rice and put it on the altar for
don't leave a can. Bogoon showed me one time a person left a can of red beans.
Don't buy a can and put the can there. Cook the food. Even if you have to use canned beans because you're too lazy to use fresh beans and the dry beans to soak them and cook them. If you're going to use canned beans, use a nice top grade of canned beans or some frozen ones and season it up and cook it like as if you were going to eat it, as if you was going to serve it to your man or your woman or your husband or your wife. Cook it like that. Cook it like you're working in a restaurant and, you're a chef and you're getting ready to get these $1,000 tips for hooking up your recipe. So think on those levels because that's another way that you're showing back gratitude. You always have to give gratitude back for asking for his help. He's going to meet you at the crossroad. He's going to put you on the right path, but you have to also show reciprocity, show a balance. Don't be greedy and selfish. Just call on them when you want them or when you have a bad intent.
When you need a favor.
Or you just need a fast favor. Exactly. And this is just a quick kind of like moving away from Papa Legba right now, but this is just a little quick overview on New Orleans Plantation Voodoo, also called Hoodoo Root Work. And I just found out today that there's a brother from New Orleans that is a plantation voodoo root worker, and he gave simple recipes to make a GG bag, a gree bag, which is for protection, health, and abundance, and love and light, and
Right.
also certain herbs you can use for illnesses. And he could be found on YouTube. It's called Free Tours by Foot, New Orleans Blood. And yeah, he has a very interesting channel, the things that he talks about. If you want to know how to make a gree bag, he has those ancient ingredients, what to use.
I have a book here too that talks about those type of bags. If I
The
can find
gree.
it. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's this book
See if
or
you can
maybe
find a nice recipe we can give them real quick.
let me see. Yeah, attract love with a gree bag. So it's only love I see here.
You don't
And,
see one?
oh yeah, I know. I see more. I see more. I see chapter 6, how to make the gree bag. Chapter 6, 201. So I can show y'all a quick recipe, right?
Yeah. The one for prosperity, health, abundance, protection, money drawing. You know, you can give them a money drawing one and for protection, health, prosperity.
Okay. Well, it's only showing the love one, Mom. To be honest, it's not showing any other ones.
But you
And
can,
it
they
has
can always, they can
hmm?
always do a Google search on the YouTube and, you know, how to make gree bags for protection, abundance, prosperity.
Yeah, it
And
says
whatever
here
you
you're gonna
guys
need a
do.
few things actually. So it's best to do it online because you're gonna need a few things. Yeah.
Yeah, but at least they know where to go for those type of things.
Yeah, and
Always.
it says here, you guys, one thing to remember for casting love spells or any spell, you should avoid using them to harm someone. Okay? Do not use voodoo to harm. Do not be like, well, our ancestors, yeah, it was for righteous reasons. Did your neighbor do anything for you to righteously attack them with voodoo that can possibly take their life? All right. Was that righteous because they didn't speak to you? Because you ain't like how the way they looked at you, or you feel like they disrespected your yard. That's not a good enough reason to kill someone. All right. I can understand the spell to keep them away from your property, but a spell to like take them out is petty. And the spirits will look at that as petty and they will dishonor you. They will not honor you anymore.
And don't
So
think you're using Papa Legba to do that. Because
right.
I know Hollywood and TV has, you know, made him look like some demonic type of person, but he really isn't. When you hear it from a Haitian point of view or a Nigerian point of view, you understand what I'm saying? Papa Legba is nothing like what we see Hollywood portraying him to be. So that's why I'm also giving my knowledge on it too, so people can have a different outlook on this, on Papa Legba and the whole voodoo system in a whole. But the main thing is to the audience is to connect with your bloodline, your ancestors that
Mm-hmm.
passed away that your bloodline related to, like your grandparents or your parents if they passed away, your aunts, your
Right.
uncles,
Like
you know.
our dada. He's very y'all know I brag about him a lot and he helps us in these reads. You know, your ancestors will help you bring in those deities, gods and goddesses or ancestors that are connected with you and your lineage as well. My dad had told me when you connect with spirit, connect with your spirit guides first. Okay, so they can attract the right spirits to you. There's a lot of people that jump right into spirituality and they're not connecting with spirit. They're not connecting with the angels. They're connecting with demons. They're connecting with certain spirits and ancestors that's not on their level consciously. So they can easily trick
Right.
them and take from them. All right, so connect with spirit first. Always connect with spirit first. And I do not work with no shadows. Okay, until you have your angelic team with you. Because I know there's some spiritualists that work with shadows too. But I prefer angels. I'm not against anyone that does that. But
You need to
just
be working with your own shadow side first. And
yeah,
once you know how
right.
to operate and control your own shadow side, then if you feel like you're strong enough and you shadow enough to do that, then do it. But make sure you know what you're doing. Don't just say, oh, I could do it because she's doing it or she got 1,000 views doing it. I want to do that too. That sounds fun. Don't be so inquisitive that you turn yourself into a nutcase. Because
Exactly.
that will eventually happen. You'll attract the wrong entities and they're attached to you like glue. and you'll wonder why you're crazy. So this is a real situation here. You know, it's lovely, it's peaceful, it's tranquility in it, but then you also got people that take it for evil intentions. Like
Yeah,
they think they're using Papa Legba or Ishu to hurt somebody, and he's not doing that. It's not him. You thought it was him because Hollywood made you believe that that's how he operates, but that's not how he
That's not how
operates.
you operate. That's
And
the
when you have lack
disrespect.
of knowledge, right? When you have lack of knowledge of what he is and who he is, and you're using him for evil intent, you really just make things bad for you. Because now you got the gateway open for anything to come your way. And it ain't the gateway that Papa Legba opened up. It's a gateway you opened up that you didn't have no business open up. So anyway, yeah, that's the gree bag, which is like a pouch of herbs in it. And now we're going to move over to the psychic vampires because we experience a lot of vampires throughout our lifetime. I'm talking about human form vampires that look like you, look like me, but they're energy drainers. And all they got to do is come around your aura and come into your luminous energy field, and they can just start draining off of it. Like plug it. It's just like someone plugging a plug in the wall, and that plug is drawing the juice to turn the TV on or this laptop on. Exactly how it is. They plug into you and just start draining you, you know? So this is one of my teachers. I have like 4 teachers, and I have scholar teachers, and then I also have my spiritual teachers. So he's one of my spiritual teachers when it deals with shaman energy healing, when it deals with um, animal archetypes, archangels, when it deals with bands of power and cleaning the chakras, when it comes to cleaning my past and generational curses from my grandparents, from my past lives, um, growing a new body, a homo luminous body, those type of vibes. So this is my teacher who I'm learning from and still is learning from. On the 21st, I'll be taking another training with him. It's a Jaguar Shaman from the high Andes in Peru, in South America, learning those energy healings and how to pretty much clean up those generational curses out of our destiny line, out of our DNA. And it's called Mastering Time, you know, living beyond the infinity that we think time is, as we think time is linear, but time ain't really necessarily linear. The shamans will
yeah,
tell you that you can bend time, you can make it go into a figure 8 shape or in a pretzel shape. And, you know, though doing that will clean up the future that was supposed to be set to be bad, but now it could be good when you get to that future point because you were able to master time and so to speak to take out that negative thing that was going to happen in your life before it happens, you know. So it's called Psychic Vampires, and I'll turn my camera off because I have to share the screen, and sometimes sharing the screen it pulls too much on the StreamYard, I guess, and then doesn't sound right.
Welcome to the Shaman's View. Today I want to touch on a topic that's really close to my own heart, which is eliminating vampires. And not the classical vampires that come and attach themselves to your throat, but the psychic vampires, the people that come and just drain you of your energy. All they want to do is, get your time, get your energy, get your consciousness, get your attention. And it's so important to clear them out of your life. But the other topic I want to cover today is how do we cut energy cords? And they're related to each other. Energy cords in particular that bind us to the past, both to our personal past and to because we need to reinvent humanity. The old paradigm model of humanity is like a suit of clothes that has become way too tight. So welcome to the Shaman's View. I'm Dr. Alberto Villoldo, and I want to share with you ancient methodologies. Karma to genetic, the path. We can have a fresh perspective and a clean take on our destiny, on the future. So when I first began my shamanic studies, I was told by my mentor that I needed to get a sword. And I said, what do I need a sword for? I'm a peaceful person around the house. He said, you don't get a sword as a weapon. You get a sword as a tool. There's a sword of light that you can use to cut cords. Because the past doesn't live within us as history. It exists as a connection, as an energetic connection, a thick light that connects us to all of the drama and trauma of human history, all of the tragedy and the violence and the terrible abuse of the past. And if you look at the past of human history, it is the past of violence and destruction and abuse by those in power over those that are powerless. So I went to the sword, and it's sword of light. Quite old, it's about 100 years old, and that is used to cut energetic parts. You don't need to buy a sword, but I encourage you to find something that you can use energetic words that are connected to our chakras. And connect to our hearts, to the way that our hearts were broken in our family, with our mother and our grandmother, or our father who could never find love and never find intimacy. Break that, cut that cord. You cannot resolve that through psychotherapy alone. And I discovered that a sword of light is an important instrument today. It's a tool, not a weapon, that we should have, every psychotherapist should have in their office, so that we can cut these connections to the past. Because the wisdom of the past doesn't tie you up and bind you with rope. It's only the suffering and the pain and the angst and the history of violence of humanity bound to repeating those stories over and over again. So I want to show you my other sword that's actually even sharper than the one that I just showed you, which is this. It's a feather. And it has an amazingly sharp edge. And that you can use in the same manner. You can use to cut a cord that's connecting your heart to the broken hearts that run in your lineage. That's connecting your head to all of the belief systems that you inherited from your mother and father, that you even inherit while in the womb. Remember that the stress hormones, that cortisol and adrenaline, through the barrier. And if your mother did not feel safe, if she could not count on your partner, that information began to organize networks in your own brain where you were born. So that we're born with 50% of our beliefs already programmed into us that we take from our mothers. We are the children and grandchildren of war. And this is what we need to cut that connection to the past. Cut it, because otherwise we're not going to be able to become that new human that needs to emerge on the planet right now. So for those of you who are studying with me and have trained with me, I encourage you to get sword and to work it in that way. And remember that it's a tool that you use to cut those connections with the toxic past. And you do it by cutting those connections to your chakras, to your energy centers. They inform your sense of safety and security in your first chakra. These inform your sexuality and your intimacy in your second chakra, for your personal power in your third chakra, where you encourage to show your gifts and your talent that you have to hide them. Cut those cords that connect you to those stories. Cut them in the front, cut them in the back. And then find where they are in your field and sever them. Connect you to experiencing in a particular way. You cannot release them lovingly to all of the ways that your family or you were wounded in the past. They need to be cut. They need to be severed. The cords that keep you bound to a relationship that you left physically. That man or that woman that you were so deeply enchanted with and then deeply disenchanted with. We need to cut those cords. If you don't cut the cords, no much psychotherapy will allow you to have a fresh start and open your heart again. Your communication, your voice, and your throat. Cut those cords. Cut those cords that keep you repeating the same stories that you heard as a child and that your father and grandfather or grandmother repeated to herself. The stories that we inherited from our families and the stories of our people today. The stories that we were banished from the Garden of Eden. The stories that we are refugees or outcasts, that we are looking for where we belong and who we are. Cut all of those stories out. Because while they might be entertaining and keep you on a quest to discover who you are, it's within a context that is dated and that is died and that we have to let go of. In your forehead, in your third eye, cut those stories. Cut those cords that keep us seeing the world in the same way that we did a year ago. That keep us waiting to return to the new normal. That keep us bound to the way everything looked when the earth was still flat. And now we live in a different planet, in a different earth, and a new humanity that requires a new vision that must come from that center. But that we have to cut the cords to the old vision of who we were as an individual, as a man, as a woman, as a person of color, as who we were as a humanity, because that is gone. And the new form and the new self and the new human has to be born inside each one of us. Find that sword. And then, of course, foremost, to cut that cord that connects us to the old model of the heavens, of the patriarchy, of the divine as a masculine form and as a tyrannical ruler that demanded blood sacrifice and burnt offerings and demanded that you offer your firstborn or your secondborn to become a significant member, hard-working member of a society that has become defunct, that is no longer life-supporting and life-sustaining. That we stop training our children to go to war or to go to work in jobs that are not sustainable or ecological or furthering the interest of the planet and of all beings. So this is the opportunity that we have today. We can either cut these cords as an act of love and an act of power, or we can wait for them to be cut for us by the tremendous wave of change that is washing over the entire planet right now. This tremendous apocalyptic transformation that has been foretold by the wisdom keepers of old across all cultures. The shamans of old foretold this time and the need for the birth of a new humanity. So I encourage you, if you don't get a sword like I have, and you can find these, but you must train them, because these were designed as instruments of war, and we need to be able to use them as tools for healing and for peace, to sever our relationship with the toxic past. My preferred instrument today is the feather. It's gentler and has less of a story behind it. The problem is that it's harder to find the edge of a feather and to use it wisely. You need to be already disconnected from the tragic history of humanity to be able to use the gentler tools. So find the instruments that you need in order to be able to give you a fresh start, to unbind you, to cut those cords that are wrapped around our feet and that keep us bound to old stories and bound to family tragedies and bound to the histories of how our family died and how they became sick and how they aged and how they were never able to find that which made them whole. We're done with those stories. Let's let them go. Remember that the brain needs ceremony in order to change. No amount of talking about it or understanding is going to produce the kind of change we want unless we accompany with ceremony. And this is what these ceremonies do. When you sever those cords that bind you to where you have been, you will no longer attract those energy vampires that are sucking our life force. And then we can have the time and the discipline and the courage to take that leap into becoming the new human that we have an opportunity to do today. The reason I am offering you this instruction today, because it's the shift in seasons. We're going through this season change, the change in the light. The days are becoming shorter or longer depending on where you live. And it's in these times of the equinox that we need to cut the cords, just as nature shifts its emphasis from growth and explosive blossoming in the end of summer, everything becoming ripe, to the sap and the juices beginning to return down into the depths of the earth and into the dark and rich and moist places where we're going to plant the seeds that will spring forth when the sun returns. So take this as an opportunity with the changing season. Cut those cords. Let go of those vampires in your life, the people that are sucking your life force, that offer you nothing, so that you can take this time to go on the clean slate, the quest for who you are becoming, for that destiny that summons you personally as part of the greater calling of humanity. This is the time. Find your shaman's tools. Use them as tools. Use them creatively. And remember that these are objects of power. And use them in a powerful and ethical way. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next view from the shaman's world. the Shaman's View. I'm Alberto Villoldo, and I will see you next week.
Are you there, Shauna?
Yes, I'm here.
So what's your intake on that? He's talking some real talk, right?
Yes, well, I did step away for a little bit. That's why y'all ain't see me in the chat. But not to do something with the kids. But yeah, he's right. It was some echo going on though, Mom.
It was bad.
It wasn't bad, no, but it was some echoing. But I just
The
wanted to
whole
let you know.
the whole time. Did it happen the whole time?
It was, but it wasn't bad. You could still hear.
Oh, you should have told me.
Yeah, I was trying, but
You
I
could have
guess
texted me, and then I could have started it over. But anyway, I'm going to play the next one and let me know if that one is doing the same thing. This one is for healing generational curses.
yes,
So
you
people
guys.
could get a bird's eye view of how do you heal these generational curses.
Oh my God! Sorry.
Let me know if it's echoing.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the Shaman's View.
Yes, it is echoing a bit.
Wow, it's been an amazing.
Okay, so where is are you? Do you have a speaker next to it?
The world keeps changing. It keeps getting more beautiful.
Yeah, I need to try it like
The
this.
human impact in the world has diminished tremendously, and we're
How about
way
now?
out in South America.
Is that better?
No, you gotta probably try to turn it down.
The skies have never been this blue. The grass has never been.
What about now? Can you hear it now?
And at the same time, we know how much suffering is happening.
better
in the
now.
world.
Is it still
We
echoing?
know that it's
Better now.
that it's a time to take our part into
Yeah, it's way
quantum
better.
field that we all share with
All right,
humanity to create peace, to create healing. So today we're going to be doing a meditation to do that. In our Shaman's View today, which is visible world, we all get the news from what's happening in the visible world and the quest for a cure. The invisible world to us to not only try to fix the damage of this epidemic, but really to dream a new world into being, where we can actually live healthy lives in harmony with the environment, with each other, practicing beauty, creating beauty around us. So frequently, students will ask me, what about karma? Do shamans believe in karma? And I say to them, yes, of course, karma is obvious. I mean, the bill always comes in. But they tell me, well, karma is an Eastern concept, isn't it? How do you find that in the Americas? So we find it everywhere in the world. The notion that we need to live in right relationship, and when we're out of balance, we incur debts that we can pass on, maybe to the next generation or to the one after that, but eventually they all come due. And today, our debts have come due with the planet. Now, even in the Christian mythology, you understand, and we hear that the sins of the father will be paid for by 7 generations. So in the shamanic traditions, you speak about having to plan, understanding the impact of every one of your actions, and that they will ripple down for 7 generations, losing power and intensity, but eventually it takes 7 generations to extinguish them. So you're careful with every one of your actions, knowing the tremendous impact that they will have. And today we're living the choices that were made by our grandfathers and their grandfathers. The choices about lifestyle, about economics, about health, and about disease. Today we're living those impacts. And at a personal level, we know that we inherit the beauty and the tragedy that runs in our families. The tragedy are those hurts and those wounds and those belief systems about scarcity, about sexuality, about intimacy, about how supported we are in the world or not. And we inherit these. In fact, we get 50% of our belief systems while we're still inside the womb, because the stress hormones go right through the placental barrier, and they begin to create neural networks in the brain even before we are born. So we're born already with a set of belief structures, not only conditioned by these stress hormones, but by the conversations that we heard while we were still in the womb. I remember a client of mine coming to see me that I would see every 6 months, and then she skipped a session, and she came 6 months later, big belly, boyfriend in tow, and I asked her, what's new? And she pointed to her belly and she said, we met 4 months ago, and I'm 3 months pregnant now. And we've been talking for the last 3 months whether we should keep the baby or not. And we finally decided that we're going to keep the baby, and we want you to help us really become a family. So I looked at her, I scanned her, and I took out my rattle and I began to track in her energy field. And as I switched over my vision into the shaman's way of seeing, into seeing the invisible world, not the visible. She had a big, big belly. Even though she was 3.5 months, she was very noticeable. But right above the belly was this little orb, this little golden orb, and it was her child. And the child's spirit was separated from the embryo. And this child was going to be born with soul loss. Part of its soul was going to hold back. Because of course, for the last 3 months, all that it had been hearing was, well, I wonder if mommy and daddy are going to love me and keep me, or if they're going to get rid of me. So I said to them, start talking to your baby. Tell your baby how much you love her, how much you love him, how welcome he is, and how you can't wait to nurse him and to hug him and to hold him, and how excited you are. And the next time I saw them, a year later, they brought in a really healthy little boy that was fully embodied, who had not suffered any kind of soul loss, had not suffered any trauma. So we inherit the conditions that run in our family. We know that to be the case with our genetics. We know that the diseases that run in our family, when you go to your doctor, they'll ask you, what did your mother and your father die of? And we know that we also inherit the dramas that run in our family. The dramas of scarcity and abundance and feeling good about ourselves and how lovable and capable of loving we are. And that's not a very good inheritance to have, neither one of those. We want to break free of the genetic curses, the generational curses that are passed down from generation to generation, generally from mother to daughter and father to son. We want to break free of the genetic curses, because that becomes the default programming. If we don't begin to create a new map for ourselves, we default to the genetic map or to the psychological map that we inherited from our families. So we want to tear these maps up, put them in the fire. We want to break free of the curse of the ancestors. Now, there's some very beautiful things also that we have inherited, and we want to cherish those and honor them. And it helps us if we kind of switch over to the Hindu understanding of karma, that all of it is karma. There's bad karma and there's good karma. And good karma is, by its very name, a little bit better than bad karma, but it's still karma, because it still predisposes us to live out the good and to be bound in a golden cage, like we frequently are. So we want to break free of all of the inheritances, the toxic inheritances that we have, cherish the good, and then eventually let go of that as well. So we can grow our own lives, we can chart our own maps, and we can become the storytellers instead of an actor in the story. So the question is, how do we do that? How do we undo these generational curses so that we don't pass them on to our children? And I remember as a young man saying to myself, I will never raise my children the way that I was raised. I'm going to be a different kind of dad. And then 25 years later, I looked into the mirror and I said, oh my God, I've become my father. And then, of course, I had to really begin to heal from these unconscious belief structures that I had inherited. Now, the shamanic lineage that we practiced and that I had been trained in, and for a long time I hesitated to, people ask me, what are you? You say, I'm a medical anthropologist. Today I say that I'm a shaman. I'm old enough. And if you've been cutting wood for 25 years, eventually you become a carpenter. And today I say, yes, I'm a shaman. I'm a shaman with a PhD, but I'm a shaman. I'm a medicine man. I'm a person that has embraced his medicine. And I truly want to invite you to embrace your inner shaman, to embrace your medicine, because it's your medicine that will set you free from these generational curses, as you become empowered and as you become the cartographer of your own journey through life. And in the lineage that I have been trained in, it's a lineage of fire. It's not an Inca lineage or Hopi lineage or Mayan lineage or a Bon lineage from the Himalayas. They're all basically coming from the same source. They're coming from the same glacier. It's not the little river that you identify with, but you identify with the water and with the rain and with the sea that all of these little rivers eventually lead to. But there are four distinct traditions of shamanism in the planet, and they're the shamans of the air, and their practice is storytelling, and the shamans of the earth, their practice is breeding and crossbreeding, their wisdom and their corn. They're the shamans of water, the water practitioners. They are the healers and the midwives that receive the babies when the water sac bursts. And they're the shamans that have the practices of fire. In the East, they're called the practices of the Kundalini, of the Tantras. In the Americas, they're the keepers of the fire, which was the most important task of the shaman for many, many thousands of years, because we have been praying and sitting and telling stories around the fire for 1,000,000 years. But we only learned how to make fire 300,000 years ago. So in our tradition, the lineage that we practice is a fire lineage. It's a rapid lineage, rapid transformation. Like the phoenix, eventually the fire consumes you and you die and you're reborn into a new being. And it's very rapid transformation and very applicable to the times that we're living in today. So these generational contracts and curses, we put them into the fire. We release them to the fire. We've done fire ceremonies together the last few Fridays, and I invite you to do that now, with starting with the curses, with the terrible things that we inherited from our ancestors. And not only from mom and dad and grandma and grandfather. Like I inherited a terrible sense of scarcity. We were refugees, we lost everything, we had to, and all my life I was always saving the good wine and not wanting to use the good glasses because they might break. I put that in the fire, and today I live in abundance. And it has nothing to do with what I have or I don't have. It has to do with that inner state. With the lilies in the field, you have everything they need. So I invite you to find first a track. Use your shamanic tracking skills. Take your rattle out, take your drum out, or simply close your eyes and ask that you be shown all of the belief structures that you inherited unconsciously and that still operate unconsciously. And when you ask to be shown, know that you will not be shown immediately, but you make a commitment with your soul, with your heart, and in the course of the day, of the week, of the next 2 weeks, you will notice. You'll notice how these unconscious beliefs play out in your life. And then the minute that you do, stop whatever you're doing, or wait until the end of the day, light a candle, take a toothpick, and place that in the fire. And the fire is our very first and most ancient ceremony. Remember, we told stories around the fire. And there is a very ancient part of our brain. It's called the limbic brain, the mammalian brain. It's the brain of fear and of scarcity and of violence and of family and beautiful things also. But it's the brain that needs ceremony in order to change. And today I've come to the conclusion that we cannot change our mind unless we change our brain. And this brain needs ceremony to change. It needs fire. That's why we have bar mitzvahs and weddings and baptisms and menopause rites and manhood and womanhood rites and death rites. The brain needs these rites of passage. And fire is the most ancient of the rites. So take those belief structures, take those generational curses, begin with the terrible ones. Place them on the stick that you're going to offer to the fire, and then put it in the fire. And as that toothpick is burning, release it. Use your intention. Make an act of power and an act of love, and release it with the breath. I let you go. You've served me well. I no longer need to subscribe to that. And then after you complete the terrible ones, as you work through the really difficult inheritances that we had, that may even manifest as physical symptoms and physical conditions and blood pressure issues and all of the illnesses of civilization, they have a belief structure associated with them. They have a trauma that happened maybe 5 generations ago that was handed down to us. When you're done with those, put the beautiful ones in with gratitude, to say thank you to the grandmothers and the grandfathers that gifted you with the resilience and the endurance and the strength and the patience and the practice of forgiveness. All of those gifts, put them in the fire also, and they will come back to you tenfold. But you will release them so that you can now craft your own destiny and not have it be an iteration of the lives that they lived. So you no longer have to be editing that book of life that you received in your genes and in your family karma, but you can become the author of your own book and of your own story. Take it to ceremony. Today we need to shed the world that we inherited from our ancestors. And it's being stripped away from us. And best that we release it voluntarily so that we can get down to the business of dreaming a new world into being. And as we do so, we discover that you and I are the ones that we've been waiting for all along. Thank you very much for joining me today at the Shaman's View, the view from the invisible world. And know that your prayers, your love, your intention, your ceremony can create a standing wave in the field that will bring peace and healing to the planet. Friday at noon. Thank you.
Okay. Do we have any questions before I continue with more footage? I would like to answer any questions that anyone may have. You there, Shauna?
Yes, I'm here.
Anyone have any questions? I see some activity going on in the chat. And I don't know if someone wanted to ask me something about the videos that I played, or they have some comments.
Aaron,
I don't
you are
know.
correct about that as well. I've connected with the Anunnaki, and I picked up some things about the reps and stuff, but that's besides this. That video was good and very
Oh, you
informational.
talking about? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just wondering if anybody in the chat had something to say.
Do you have
I see
any
someone
questions?
So someone named Zeki777 says trash. What is trash?
Don't even worry about that.
I mean, that's just a waste of time. Like, why are you even here if it's trash? Bye.
Do you
I
have
have time
any
for that negativity.
right? Do you have any other videos
So
that you can share?
yes, I do. The next one is called the Luminous Body, and it's going to explain exactly. It's going to show you, like, in the physiology point of view, anatomy, physiology, spiritual point of view, how these different emotions and attachments and cords are embedded into your luminous energy field, and that's when it start creating sicknesses and even death. So it's very your consciousness would definitely have to be open, unless you'll think what he's saying is trash. So if you don't have an open consciousness, not being disrespectful, then maybe this live stream isn't for you. Because here you have to have an open heart and an open consciousness, especially if you couldn't say what the video said and you know nothing about it. There's no way you could call it trash because you're ignorant to it and you don't know it. So now it's trash. We don't want to play those games. This is a learning opportunity here, you know. So you take what resonates, go and research it, find it out for yourself, dig deeper. And if it's not, then so be it. But we don't need the little childish remarks and things, because we're all here as a each one. Each one is going to teach one. We're all going to learn every day. We're going to learn something new every day if we have an open consciousness to learn something every day. Otherwise, we'll be making petty comments like that, which is unnecessary. But anywho,
Yes.
let me
Let's
start
go
the
ahead
next
and move
video.
forward. Amina.
Right, hold on. Let me share the screen.
Yes, Mama, tell them.
What happened?
So Aaron said, "Tell my mama." Like when we were saying, if you ain't got an open mind, got
It's true. All right, what happened here? Play. Large screen.
We differentiate between healing and curing.
Mom, make sure the echo is not there.
Curing has
Yeah.
is the business of the shaman. It's what we do in our training programs. What we train our students to do to our Healing the Light Body School. We're training Western shamans that are able to bring about healing.
No problem, Melanin Goddess. Thanks for tuning in, though. Yeah, Ma, it's from the mic he's saying. So, however you did it before, do it like that again.
Yeah, I just did. I'm trying to restart it now.
Okay.
The internet is a little slow. Be patient. It's coming. All right, let me stop sharing it and then reshare it again.
Okay.
Since the internet won't break up on me.
And that frequently results in curing as well.
How does that sound?
It's keep it going. It sounds good so far. Yes, it is the pace. It is the key to wisdom, patience. Yeah.
We differentiate between healing and curing.
Yeah, mine's still echoing.
Curing is the business of medicine.
Okay.
To do with eliminating symptoms. Healing is the business of the shaman. It's what we do in our training programs. It's what we train our students
What about
to
now?
do to our Healing the Light Body School. We're training Western shamans that are able to bring about healing,
Yeah, it's
That's
not
better?
echoing.
which is much more thorough than curing is.
Yeah.
Frequently results in curing as well.
It's
But
better?
just not always. For example,
Yes,
some of my best clients die, but they die peacefully.
So it
They
won't
die
echo.
nearly pain-free. They die consciously. So healing
Wait, is it paused?
mission is to
How is it better?
translate.
Yeah, but I don't hear anything. I guess you got to unmute the mic then. Maybe you got to unmute the main mic. Just unmute the mic and leave it. Let's see. Because maybe when you mute your mic, it mutes the sound.
Yeah, I have to unmute my mic because it's coming from my side. Yeah, I have to unmute my mic because it's coming from my side.
To bring these methodologies to the West,
Yes,
train Western shamans is in the luminous healing practices of the Americas. And today we're training people from all cuts of life to learn to heal themselves, to learn to heal each other, and to learn to heal the world. And this is who the shaman is. We are caretakers of the earth. And my mission is to train Western shamans that can dream a dream of healing and of peace and of beauty together. A healer always works within sacred space. And the notion that we work with in our premise is that we can create a personal sacred space by calling on the four corners of the world and on the organizing principles that each of these four corners represent. When we summon them, we create a space that is safe, which is an essential condition for healing to occur. Many of the clients that I work with personally are coming to see me because at an early stage in their life, the world ceased to be safe. And until we can create an energetic, safe space, a sacred space, healing is going to be very difficult. We do this by summoning on the four corners of the world, the four directions in heaven and earth. But then we work with creating a second kind of sacred space. The first one connects us to the ecosphere, to all of the forces of nature. The second kind of sacred space connects us to the noosphere, which is the distinctly human sphere, to the medicine men and women, to the luminous beings that assist us from the spirit world, the spiritual teachers, the angels, the luminous ones. And we have so much help available to us. But they cannot intervene directly in our world. Our world is too dense. So we have to create a microcosm, a micro-universe, and they can come and assist us in our healing processes. In fact, they end up doing so much of the work. Shamanism is an ancient spiritual and healing practice found throughout the Americas and throughout all traditional cultures in the world, in India, in Tibet, in Russia, in Central Europe, and practiced most actively today in the Americas. And the shaman is the individual who mediates between heaven and earth, between the visible and the invisible worlds. The shaman is the individual who dances on top of the equal sign in Einstein's famous equation, E = mc squared. He dances between the world of energy and between the world of matter. The shaman is the one who heals disease, the one who propitiates the forces of nature, the one who is able to steer the village and the individual into a purposeful and healed and meaningful life. The shamans that I have the privilege of working with understood that we have a luminous energy field that surrounds the physical body and that informs the physical body, that organizes the physical body in the same way that the energy fields of a magnet will organize iron filings on a piece of glass. And that you have to intervene to heal the body at the level of the luminous energy field, at the level of the blueprint. That if you only intervened at the body through surgery or medication without clearing the blueprint, then whatever condition you were suffering from would re-express itself. The luminous energy field is shaped like a donut, which in geometry the shape is known as a torus. And it's a donut with a very narrow hole in it. So if you can imagine a flux of energy coming up through our feet, through our bodies, out the very top of our head, and expanding the width of our outstretched arms, and this energy flowing up through the feet, up to the legs, and down the outside of the body again, and then up again, and you rotate that 360 degrees, you end up with a torus. This is the shape of the luminous energy field when we're in nature. When we're in a city, this donut of energy collapses and becomes very, very tight, like a cocoon, a very tight cocoon around the physical body. But when we're back in nature or in our natural states, it's very expansive. This luminous energy field is what contains the imprints of our early life experiences, of genetically inherited illnesses, even of memories before we were born, when we were still in the uterus and before. When we learn to perceive the luminous energy field, we learn to perceive the luminous nature of life. The visual spectrum, what the eye can see, is a very narrow band of the electromagnetic spectrum. Very, very small. Most of what's happening in the universe is happening outside of the visual spectrum. When we learn to perceive with our inner eyes, with the eyes that can perceive the luminous nature of life, we recognize our interconnectedness with all things, with the stars, with the rivers, with the mountains, with the valleys, with each other. The luminous energy field becomes toxic when we experience toxic emotions that we're not able to process or cleanse ourselves from effectively. They begin to build within our luminous field like sludge, pools of sludge that begin to weaken us, debilitate us, to slow down the flow of the energy stream, to make us lethargic, to make us unconscious. An imprint is caused by trauma that is unhealed at the moment. So whenever we have trauma that we do not resolve and heal in the moment, it begins to organize energy in the form of a blueprint, if you want, of a fingerprint in the luminous energy field. It becomes encoded into our field. It has a charge that is not released in the moment, and that as this charge is carried within the cocoon of our field, it begins to embed itself to the walls of the field and becomes a permanent fixture. The shaman works with 4 levels of reality, by engaging 4 levels of reality. And I like to briefly describe these. The first one is the literal level, the level of matter of the body. The second one is the symbolic, we can call it the mind. The third is the mythic, that we could call the soul. And the fourth is the essential, that we could call the spirit. Each of these are like Russian nesting dolls that sit inside each other and that inform the levels within it, so that we know that the mind informs the body, the soul informs the mind, and the spirit informs the soul. Each of these domains has its own language. The language of the body is physical, chemical, cellular. The language of the mind are words. The language of the soul are images. And the language of spirit is energy. The gift of the healer is to be able to engage each of these levels separately, to not be confined to one. For example, medicine operates strictly at the level of the body, psychology at the level of the mind, spiritual teachings at the level of the soul, and the very deep spiritual teachings at the level of spirit. The healer and the healers that we're training in the West learn how to switch levels of engagement. So that if you're working with a client and they have a pending engagement with a heart condition because they inherited it from their mother and their grandmother, they don't want to have that encounter at the literal level in the emergency room. You preferably want to have it at the psychological, or preferably at the level of the soul, ideally at the energetic, where you're able to clear the imprint in the luminous energy field before it has an opportunity to organize disease. So the shaman healer is able to work at all 4 levels. The psychologist generally works only at the level of mind, and the tools of the psychologist are language and feelings. The shaman is able to work at the level of the soul. The tools at the level of the soul are images, archetypical images that are laden with power, not just with information, but with power. And the language of spirit, of course, is not even images. The language of spirit is energy, which is the most fundamental language of all. There are dangers associated with energy medicine. And these are dangers that are seldom pointed out by practitioners. I've had many people come to my office after they have seen an energy healer who has applied energy to their cancer, only to have their cancer metastasize throughout their body. Because cancer loves energy. It loves blood flow. It loves energy. So we cannot practice energy healing by treating the symptom only. We have to be very, very careful, because these are extraordinarily powerful processes that can disinhibit the immune response or can accelerate the growth of the cancer in the body. So there are cautions that the healer must be aware of, and that during the course of your training, as you experience the power of these practices, you become very sensitive to their appropriate use. There are 4 modalities of healing that we work with, and 4 distinct processes. The first one is the illumination process. This is the core healing process, and it has to do with clearing and erasing imprints in the luminous energy field and assisting your client in having an experience of infinity. The second process is working with intrusive energies or entities. In the West, we assume that all of the energies that we experience belong to us. In traditional societies, the healer understands that there are energies that do not belong to you. That these are intrusive energies, and in some cases, intrusive entities that do not belong to your client. There are 2 kinds of intrusive energies. The first one is thought forms directed at you. Someone that feels that you've hurt them, that you've betrayed them, that when you feel that you've been stabbed in the back by someone. Now, these are generally individuals that we were once close to, that young man or that young woman that feels that you left them and destroyed their lives because you were the love of life. The resentment and the anger that they feel can penetrate our luminous defenses because we do not recognize them as foreign. These are people that we were once very open to, that we let in very deeply. And these energies can actually embed themselves in the physical body and become crystallized and hardened. And in the jungles, for example, they describe these as spears or arrows, darts, psychic darts that embed themselves in the body and that begin to transmit their poison, which is generally in the form of anger or rage or fear. Anger and fear, the 2 most deadly poisons in the world. The third process we work with is the soul retrieval process. Now, all of these are founded on the illumination process, on clearing imprints from the luminous energy field. The soul retrieval process, in which the healer journeys on behalf of a client to help them recover a soul part that was lost as a result of trauma or pain. The soul retrieval can accomplish in a couple of sessions what can take years to do in psychotherapy. In psychotherapy, you're retrieving the understanding of why this happened, how it happened. In soul retrieval, you're actually recovering a quanta of energy, a vital life force, not the information, but the energy. and reinstalling that as essential resources that your clients need in order to heal. You're retrieving the energy and reinstalling it in the client's psyche, transmitting it to the client. The fourth healing process that we work with are the death rites, which we have largely forgotten in the West. Throughout the America, there are groups of indigenous peoples that are keepers of a body of prophecy that talks about the upheavals that are happening in the earth today. The prophecies for the Inca are known as the prophecies of Pachacuti. Pachacuti means the earth being turned over, being turned upside down. And they speak about this time that we're living in, until the year 2012, as being a time of marching and upheaval. So the prophecies speak about a new human being born on the planet today. I believe that we have the opportunity to become that new human in our generation, to become a new species, to become Homo luminous, no longer Homo sapiens. And I believe that today the question is not can we, but dare we take that quantum leap into who we are becoming today.
Okay. All right. You there, Shauna?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so anybody have any questions before I go on to the last one?
Yeah, any questions? I think they're following along
Okay, good.
pretty good, pretty well.
Let me just go back to the last screen so I can pull it up. Okay. So I don't know. I hope everybody is feeling good.
Yes, yes. I hope everyone is feeling good.
In our last meeting, we spoke about the beginner's mind. How do we cultivate that freshness where we can have a new experience of life and not simply
Okay. Sorry for the wait. Let me know how this sound is, okay, Shauna?
Okay.
Our bodies have become toxic waste dump. You can learn how to detox your body and even begin to grow a new body in 1 week. And we do this by awakening systems in the body that have gone dormant. Because remember that biology selected us for reproduction and not
It's good, Mom.
for longevity. The species, but only by investing very heavily its resources.
Ma, it's fine. It's good.
I know, but the internet seems
Yes,
like
it
there's
is
some little interruptions.
So that after the age of 40, many systems in our body begin to shut down. Self-repair systems, antioxidant systems. The shamans of old discovered how to turn these systems back on again. I remember asking an old man in the jungle one time, how do I avoid the illnesses so I can live a long and healthy life? He said, avoid those illnesses is to live a long and healthy life. I said, you don't understand. And he said, no, I do understand. And later, many years later in the laboratory, we discovered that the medicine plants that are used by sages around the world switch on the genes inside every cell. They switch on self-repair systems and antioxidant systems that have been turned off by nature and that are turned off in just about everybody after the age of 40. And they're switched off because of the tremendous toxic load that we have in our systems. So the first step is to detoxify. The second step is to repair the brain. Because if we don't repair the brain, it's genetic disease. And we can repair the brain in as little as 6 weeks and get started in 1 week. We repair the regions in the brain that allow us to dream higher states of health into being. And we can do that with neuronutrients that are available to us today in health food stores. But we work with clinical doses of the very, very finest supplements that can repair the brain and switch on the body's natural self-healing systems. Within 3 days, the brain fog clears. Within 5 days, you start sleeping soundly and deeply, resting completely. And you notice how your skin begins to change. Your energy level begins to increase. Within 1 week, you can transform your life. You can start on a plan that will make sure that your health span equals your lifespan. Now, this has to be complemented with the energy medicine practices. The energy medicine erases the imprints for disease that we have in our luminous energy field. And the luminous energy field is the blueprint that organizes the body and organizes your experiences in the world. When you heal the luminous energy field, the body repairs itself. And you can actually grow a new body that ages and heals and lives and even dies differently. We have the methodologies today, the ancient shamanic technologies for upgrading the quality of the luminous energy field, and the contemporary neuroscience that shows us how we can repair the brain. We know the cutting edge of biology. We know that to establish states of extraordinary health, we have to repair the microflora in the gut. We have to literally exchange the microbial colony that we have growing inside of us. Because 90% of your DNA does not belong to you. It belongs to the microbes that we have symbiotic relationship with, most of which live in our guts, in our skin, in our mouth. With the use of antibiotics, of chlorine in our water, we destroyed our microflora. And when that happens, we begin to get allergies. Peoples in the Amazon that I worked with have allergy rates of 1 person in 1,500. Today in America and in Europe, our allergy rates are 1 person out of 3. 1 out of 3 people are allergic, experience allergic reactions in nature. When we restore the flora in the gut, allergies disappear. And we can do this within 1 week. We work with cutting-edge probiotics that are specially cultivated and harvested, that are decades ahead of what's available commercially today. Combining the energy medicine with the supplements that repair the brain and the foods that switch on the body's antioxidant systems is an extraordinary formula that can allow you to heal from chronic conditions, but more important, to prevent the 3 horsemen of the apocalypse that are the plague of Western civilization, which are cancer, cardiovascular disease, and dementia. The rates of dementia in the United States are staggering. If you live to be 85 years old, your chances of having diagnosable Alzheimer's are 1 out of 2, 50%. This is unheard of. 100 years ago, these 3 conditions were virtually non-existent. Today, we know how to prevent these. We know that you have to develop a lifelong strategy, and we can help you to do that. We have the technologies. They're available to us today, but we need clean food, clean water, clean air, and good energy medicine. And with these, we can grow a new body in as little as a week. We can trigger the production of stem cells that repair the brain, that repair the heart, that repair every organ in the body. It's an exciting time today when modern science and ancient science share the same boundaries, share that same cutting edge. Thank you.
Yes, Shauna. I think the medicine teachings is well needed in 2022. So that's why I was, willing to share all of this that I've been sharing this past hour and a half or 2 hours. Because this is what we experience, those different challenges and stuff throughout life.
It was definitely good information.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone definitely resonated with, if not everything, some things.
I think they get the picture.
Right.
That's why I wanted to show the videos, because it gives a visual of what's going on.
Exactly.
along with the lecture and the literature, the visuals, the words, the pictures. It makes sense that way. Because I was going to read the document, but then I'm like, it's better that I can talk about serpent, read about serpent, let's just say, so to speak, and then show them a video that he spoke about serpent as well. And that will make what I'm reading make more sense than them just hearing me reading about it, and they're probably visualizing the serpent in a different manner. But he'll come from an academic point of view to explain the spiritual way to them, you know?
Right.
So I think that I'll save those little pieces for next time because we're already at the 2 hour mark, right?
Right.
I don't know if we wanted to keep going or what, but if not, then I can save that for another time.
Okay, we can split it for another time.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll just add in, use those 2 hours.
Yeah. Right, to deal with that because that takes a little time too. It takes about 2 hours too. Yeah, so thanks for having me on as I can share my wisdom and gifts with everybody because I'm an ever learning student. And yeah, that's my gree bag that I brought today. That's my gifts. Mm-hmm.
Yes, Ashe.
And ones could definitely check out the website that's on the screen, Human Biofield Hacking, www.onespiritmedicine.com for full details on how to detox the body, repair mitochondria, and upgrade the brain to live long and healthy life. To live a long and healthy life. So if you're thriving to live a long and healthy life, then you need to check out onespiritmedicine.com and detox that body and repair your mitochondria, enhance your brain, upgrade your brain cells, get those nerves popping again in the brain, you know, especially if you have a stressful life between work and home. You got to give your body that medicine back. So if anybody has any questions, you know, they can ask them now, or I'm just going to say love and gratitude and thank you for your time and attention. I appreciate you being here.
Yes, thank you, Love Light. Thank you, Aaron. Ow.
And until next
Thank
time,
you all for being here. We appreciate
everybody
you.
take care.
Yes. So,
Let
are
me
you
see
going
if I can see what the chat is saying real quick.
to? Okay. Someone asked a question. I think you should answer this, Mom. It's okay. You can always rewind it.
What happened? What was the question?
Somebody asked, what's the best thing for blood and urine?
Oh, they need to do a kidney. They need to do a kidney detox. That's what that sounds like to me.
She said her daughter is 7 and having experiencing issues with pain in her private. She's highly sensitive to soap.
What did the doctor say? Did she take it to the doctor first? Because I would say to see what the doctor has to say first, and then
She said she prayed and
I
it
would
went
do the
away.
herbal. She what?
Oh. Well, she said when she went to the doctor, they told her that they would check her urine again next week, and she said she prayed and it went away. So next week they're gonna check it again. The pain went away. She said she have herbs too. So I guess you can go ahead and talk about the herbs.
Yeah, I'm finding something right now that she could probably look into if she wants. Just give me 1 second.
Mommy, you need to put it. Mom,
Okay, here's something that I found just to get you started.
Mom, I put this.
Hold on, Mom.
Amina. Amana.
She'd be like, I mean no. I mean no. Hold on.
All right, let me pause it for you. And here what she asked me.
It's literally looking at me. Looking at me. Not your mom looking at me. Not your mom looking at me. Okay, next song. Okay. What do you want? Okay, next song. Hurry up. Okay. Okay, extending of the song. Sheesh. Which song? Which one you have another song? Can you sing? When I say a song, you have to sing it.
Hold on, I gotta go back to the.
Ariana Grande.
Okay, you guys, well, I'm gonna leave. Yeah, have a good rest of your day.
Gonna start my boil right quick video, quick. Yeah, put on the pot, put it in water, put in a parsley, and just make it come up to a boil. And 10 minutes, you just leave it, make it cool. You don't have to rush it. Cover the pot. Then you put it in a nice water bottle. You understand? Put it in your fridge. If you want to use it to make iced tea, if you want to use it with other ingredients, that's fine. But you want to do this and you want to drink this water. After 10 days, not even so long, you'll be surprised how quickly you'll start to see results. Remember, me tell you, this is good for you, man. Take care of your body. You know, son, is either the doctor or the supermarket. But somebody gonna benefit off of you. So hey, I prefer the supermarket getting my money, not the doctor. Do the right thing. All right. Okay, so now it's been 10 minutes and see. And pretty much me just gonna leave this cool now. Just leave that, don't trouble it, make it cool. And then it's ready. Yeah, you just use it all you want.
Hey there, my name is Bridget Davis, the Internet Chef, and you're watching a juicing episode of the Internet Chef TV. Today's juice that we're going to make is a wonderful kidney cleanser. I like to call it a kidney spring clean. Now, this type of juice is really good to help prevent getting kidney stones, also to help if you are suffering from a bad kidney or a bit of kidney disease, but it'll also help to regulate your blood sugar and increase red cell production. So all around, it's a pretty fantastic juice. So let's take a look at our ingredients that we're going to use today. Just a little drop. So in my calendar of goodness today, I have some pretty simple ingredients, nothing that you're going to find too hard to get hold of at your local veggie store. So what we're going to use today for our kidney spring clean is we're going to use a cucumber. Now, cucumbers are really good at helping to fight cancer. They've also got a high water content, so they're really great if you are also looking at weight loss. So not only are they good for cleaning out your kidneys, but they're also a really good weight loss saver. So we're going to use one nice sized cucumber, as you can see there. Now, all these vegetables, by the way, I have cleaned in advance, give them a good scrub. We're going to use some green apples. Now, I'm using 3, but you could use 2 medium-sized green apples. Now, the reason why we're putting green apples through this is apples are a really great cleanser, and they also help the body to digest fatty foods. They're great at regulating the blood sugar and can even reduce the chances of developing type 2 diabetes, which is fantastic. They help to protect against certain cancers, and they're really, really good for our brain. So giving our kidney a clean and also doing some work on our brain. So we're going to put those apples through. I've got just a couple sprigs of mint there. Mint's really good for freshening the breath in the mouth, and also good if you've got an upset tummy. Put a bit of mint through. And last but definitely not least, I've got a little knob of ginger. Now, our ginger is what I like to call it nature's pharmacy, because it's good at reducing nausea, it can soothe tummy cramps, and it's really great anti-inflammatory, but also helps if you can clear your sinuses. So if you've got some blocked sinuses, a nice ginger tea would be a good way to go. So what we're going to do now is we're going to prepare all our vegetables for juicing. I'm using the Sunbeam double sieve juicer today, so it's got a nice large shoot, so I don't have to worry too much about the size of our vegetables. Okay, time to spin. For those of you who've watched a few of our videos, you'll know how much I love retro glasses, and this is no exception. It's got, I'm not sure whether they're balloons or flowers, but it rocks as far as I'm concerned. So all we're left to do is to pour this wonderful kidney cleansing juice into our perfectly